It's been a minute since I watched a Netflix crime doc, and a new one came out. Okay, new, whatever. Anyway, American Murder, Gabby Petito. If you don't remember this one, this was the one where the Gabby is missing in the Utah desert and is found, and it's the boyfriend who done it, but he ran away to Florida, and his parents are probably hiding some shit. Anyway, how did this doc go? Let's find out. Chase Lee Hockey here with the Blue Futon reviewing American Murder, Gabby Petito. And if I'm saying her last name wrong, I'm completely sorry. Sorry. Anyway, pretty simple premise. We are looking at cops footage, body cam footage. We're talking to friends, family, etc. to figure out what happened to Gabby and telling it in a 3-episode doc. And did I like this one? I thought it was okay. It just felt like it was so conventional, not giving me more information. Like, this is somewhat of a newer case where what they did in episode 3, I think really didn't sit with me right. But let's just continue on with what this is doing. I think what this does great. God, my nose itches like a mofo because I need to sneeze, but it won't let me sneeze. Anyway, so we got cop footage, and that's the best part of this, in my opinion. Sometimes I would say it's the family getting interviewed or the friends, but I think that, it was kind of fluff, and that sounds horrible, but they didn't really add anything to the story except she was a great person, This might sound so horrible of me going through this review, but, I'm just going to say it as it is, in my personal opinion. The cop footage is probably the greatest part of this, of interviewing, the boyfriend's parents. The traffic stop was the big traffic stop because this was all set in stone, where apparently they were having a fight between both of them, hitting each other, and that is where the case kind of takes to a left field. And a lot of people are going to say the cops did everything wrong. How dare they? How did they? They did everything right, in my opinion. And you might be wondering, like, well, she stayed in the van and he went to the shelter. Well, all they can go off of is a 911 call saying blah, blah, blah. Well, when they get there, he has the quote-unquote scratches. She has something, I think, on her face as well as her arm. But it looks like they both were beating up on each other. And at that point, you say you split up for the night. That's what you do. And that's what the cops said, basically saying, you go here, here's some money, take it easy. If none of them are willing to press charges, you can't really do a lot from what I did research on. Yes, there are some instances where the cops look, this is probably going to go down a bad road, but if she is literally like, I cannot live without him, anxiety, what is a cop supposed to do? Is that also where maybe the parents should get involved as well? Because this is where it's like the parents are blaming the cops, the families are blaming the cops, the friends are blaming the cops. The cops literally did their job. They split them up, got both sides of the story. She's like, yes, I hit him. He's like, yes, we're in a bad part. She's like, I have anxiety, blah, 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 but I can't leave him. We're a team. What's the cop supposed to do? The footage is there. And people are like, well, it should have been done worse. It's like we're at a point where the cops can't do nothing right, or they do everything wrong. Like, should have done more, should have done less, should have done more, should have done like, that's where I just kind of laugh. What could have done more is probably the parents. The lawyers came involved. I think the cops did right there. It's like, whose van is that? It's not in his name. It's in her name. Where is she? We're taking it away for evidence. So it's interesting parts on that where I really dug, where we were getting some backstage, okay, that sounds weird, but footage of what is actually occurring that probably a lot of people didn't see, and I really did dig that. But I feel like, though, I understand we're trying to get to know some of these people, and this is very anticlimactic of what actually occurs, and you really don't get closure of, like, was it really suicide? I think we should have focused more on the parents of the boyfriend who, quote-unquote, committed suicide. That is something that we should have probably more focused on, in my opinion, because there was something going on there. And what happens at, like, the last 10 minutes of this story really set with me wrong, because they're like, well, if this was a black person, no one would have cared about it. And you're just like, did we really just bring race into this? Well, who's to fucking blame? Like, let's be honest. Why are the Chicago shootings only Chicago news? Why is this to this? It's one of those things like, who the fuck is there to blame? Like, do not come at me and don't come the audience blaming us for not caring when it doesn't hit the news. And it's one of the things where it's a weird one because it's a weird story where someone called 911. We have this footage and they were on the internet doing like YouTube channels and, podcasts, not podcasts, but these interviews. And I mean, what else do you want to say? Like, I mean, when you look at, Mexicans or blacks, when they're kidnapped or murdered, is anything this crazy or odd where someone kills them and they do it? Well, there was a serial killer in Atlanta, but a black person did it, but the black community refused to believe it was a black person who did it, even though there's no way a white person could kill all these African Americans or blacks in Atlanta, Georgia in the 70s. It's just not possible to do it in a black neighborhood. There'd be way too many people like, who's that white guy? Who's the white guy? So at a point, it's also the catch-22 where it's like, okay, we'll do the story, but you don't believe. Listen, it's one of those things where it's like, do you want to be famous for being killed? Or, I don't know, it's one of those things where it's fascinating. There is one, the sniper, but of course you don't want to talk about that. So I don't know. I don't know what to do. Do you blame me for not caring? I mean, I just listen to what's on the news. I'm not going to literally go through every fucking city and be like, oh my God, why is this one not now? Why is this? So it's like that last 10 minutes really did rub me the wrong way, where it's just like, you're the one making the doc. You're the one making it, but you're kind of telling me I should pay attention to this happening to other people that are not white. Isn't it your job? Because you're in the quote-unquote media sphere and you're the one making these docs? So don't come at me, bro. Don't come at me. Overall, American Murder, Gabby, it is a fine one, but at the end of the day, it felt like the only thing I received new was the police footage, which was fun, but other than that, it was very by the books. So American Murder, Gabby Petito will receive a 3 out of 5 Blue Futons, which equals that 60%. So see the critics and user scores gave this one. So we have a critics a 75%, audience score 73%, and with that, they're calling this a season 1. It's not season 1, but anyway, unexceptional. Yeah. Anyway. Exploitation. Some people were saying. And I don't think it's exploitation, but I just felt like it was very surface level. And you don't really get anything new from it. Anyway, 60, 73, 75. Chase Sock here, the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. One more thing is Bluetontopia. You Blue Futonians. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. I'm going to watch this tape tomorrow, week from month. Here for hours. You go freaking one of you. Peace and love. And yes, just don't murder people. It's not nice.